and welcome to the Lounge 1506 Virtual Spotlight. I'm Abby Brinkhaus, and on this segment, we're going to interview Gopher. He's a mod developer who has created 62 files. These files have collectively been downloaded 3.6 million times and have received over 54,000 endorsements. Some of his most popular mods, which allow players' game to be more immersive, remove HUD elements when they are not in use. However, these elements quickly appear when needed. In addition to making mods, he also makes a number of videos to help many people around the world get the best out of modding. Thank you, Gopher, for doing this interview with us. Please, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I make game modifications for Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Skyrim. And I make videos about mods and modded games. I was, in real life, a software developer, although I quit my job recently and am looking into alternative careers. And I have a fairly long background in the technical field. I am also a father of multiple children of various ages, and so, as you can imagine, sleep is not something I generally get a lot of.
We certainly appreciate the time you spent on your projects. Do you care to share the story behind your screen name?
Yeah, I guess. It's not hugely interesting. Basically, I mean, my gaming career spans back a long way. And my online gaming spans back pretty much as long as there's been online gaming, back to text-based mods and that type of thing. And I always chose names that were, I don't know what you'd call them, nice, sweet, cuddly names. And the reason I did that was basically because everybody else picked, you play these fantasy games and everyone would be calling themselves Drizzt Do'Urden with like 4 Zs, or Gandalf with a 4 instead of the A, or if you were playing FPS games, you'd be getting people like Ninja Slayer, Dragon Killer, and all sorts of names like this. And so I always like to pick cute, sweet, adorable names just to be annoying. I think there's something very humiliating about getting completely and utterly dominated by somebody going by the name Fluffy or something like that. And the name I chose, well, when was it? It was my Quake 2 playing days. Gopher was just the name I chose for that game. And a few years later, when I was signing on for Nexus, I just had to come up with a username, and for some reason it's just the first one that came into my head. I honestly never really expected to use it that much because I only joined Nexus to, go and leech a couple of mods, and that's it. I used that username, got the mods I wanted, and then didn't go back for years, actually.
That's a neat story. Thank you for sharing it with us. What are some of the games that you like to play?
A lot of them, actually. I mean, people tend to pigeonhole me and say, Gopher likes this type of game, Gopher likes that type of game. And then they get really surprised when I play something else. I mean, Borderlands 2, for example. People seemed really shocked. You like Borderlands 2? It's not exactly really realistic and immersive. And? As I mentioned, I used to play Quake 2 Catch the Flag. In that game, I would be grapple hooking across ceilings, flying through the air and making sniper shots whilst flying. It doesn't have to be an immersive game for me. Sometimes I just play for fun, and games like Borderlands are a lot of fun. I play FPS games, I play RTS games, you name it.
So of all the games that you've played, what are some of your all-time favorites?
Oh God, that's tough. Honestly, very, very tough question indeed. The ones that come to mind are Knights of the Old Republic. Just that game really did blow me away. Same with Mass Effect. I'd say Mass Effect and Knights of the Old Republic in very, very close proximity to each other because, those games really, they took my breath away at times. They were just, the story was incredible. The level of emotion was amazing. But there are some that come pretty close after it as well. I mean, Fallout 3 for me, a lot of people give Fallout 3 some grief. But I remember that moment of opening the vault door and stepping out into the wasteland for the first time ever. And, sometimes you just know there's a moment in a game where you just know you are never going to stop loving that game, no matter what. And that was a moment for me. In Knights of the Old Republic, it was... I'm not going to tell you in case you've not played Knights of the Old Republic, but people who've played it probably know the moment. The moment of realization. It's brilliant. Absolutely. Knights of the Old Republic, it's very old, the first one. If you've not played it, for God's sake, play it. It is brilliant.
Those are some good games to play. What inspired you to start modding video games?
I think inspired is the wrong word. I think I'm going to say something now that is probably true of a lot of modders. I started modding because something irritated me about the game. It's as simple as that.
Okay, do you remember the first mod you ever created?
My first ever mod was something called the Advanced Recon Armor. That was its original name, and it was because I always play stealth characters in these games, and in Fallout 3, there was no armor to be stealthy in except the Recon Armor, which is obviously the Brotherhood of Steel's Under Armor, and it looks kind of terrible, but it gives +5 stealth, and it really annoyed me, and so I added a stealth field to that armor, and that's all I really did. It was a little bit more complicated than that. You couldn't move. The stealth field was only on when you were crouching and stationary and so on. So it was a little bit more complicated. This was before any of the DLC came out, so this was before the Chinese stealth armor. That mod is how it all started, and it was literally a simple effect. And that mod actually took about a year of my time in the end. I've got a couple of thousand hours on that mod because it just took off. I kept adding new things to it, and I can't remember when it was created. It was pretty close after Fallout 3 was released.
You did a good job on that mod too. What programs do you like to use when creating mods?
Pretty much all of them. I used the GEC for Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3, the Creation Kit for Skyrim, but I also use Nifscape when doing modelling, as well as Blender, which is an open source sort of free version of 3ds, whatever it is. For scripting in Skyrim, you can actually do the scripting outside of the Creation Kit, and I use Notepad++, which is a great little editor. And I think that's it. I mean, there are loads of other tools. For example, Test5 Edit, FNV Edit, FO3 Edit. There, of course, are tools for... I mean, I used to use the Fallout Mod Manager because it had a BSA extractor and that type of thing. So, all sorts of tools. I mean, the modding business is not an exact science, and it does involve a lot of... you have to learn a lot of different things. Oh, and GIMP. GIMP for textures. All
right. What do you enjoy most about creating mods?
Probably the interaction with the users, the feedback. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun creating things, having people use them. It's an amazing feeling when people really do enjoy the mods you've made. A close second would be managing to do something that was unbelievably difficult, or people didn't think was possible, or just something that's been really annoying you. It's a good feeling when you finally finish something. But in general, it's user response. It's when you make something and people either go, "Oh God, I've been dying for someone to make something like this," or even better, when you make something and people say, "You know what? I never thought of this, and I never thought I'd even care for this, but once I've tried it, I love it." Things like my immersive would get that all the time. People look at it and think, "Well, I don't understand. Why would I want to play without the heads-up display?" And then they try it, and then they love it, and they come back, and I love that. I love seeing people go, "Oh wow, this is so much better." It's just a great feeling.
What is the least rewarding thing about creating mods?
Answering the same question a million times. Literally. I mean, you might think it was all the people trolling you. I say all the people. There's not that many people trolling. Believe it or not, the Nexus community is probably one of the most mature and polite internet communities I have ever interacted with. But, of course, you do get asked certain questions. And, you can answer this question on the front page in bold. You can have it in a README. And people will still ask. You can actually have it on a note on the file that they have to download, and they will still miss it. That can be frustrating, not because you don't want to answer the question, but because you've answered it so many times.
Gopher, you have been making mods for years. What prompts you to make mods that you've made and continue to make?
What prompts me are a variety of things. Sometimes it could be just something that annoys me, something that's irritating me, or something I feel is missing. Other times it could just be a crazy idea. I mean, you only have to look at the Fiendish powered armor. That's not armor I'd ever use. It's insane. It really is. But I suddenly got this idea. I was like, I wonder if I could make that. I wonder what it would look like. And so I started making it, and it took on a life of its own. Some of the mods are because I really, really do want to use them.
What is your favorite mod that you have created?
Immersive HUD, because I really wouldn't play without it. I know it's my mod, and so therefore I'm promoting it, but it's one of the things that I would always list as a must-have mod for me now in Skyrim, Fallout 3, and Fallout New Vegas. Once you play without the heads-up display getting in the way, while still having the advantages of the heads-up display when you need it, it's very hard to play any other way. For me, anyway.
And that is actually your most endorsed file, too. It has well over 15,000 endorsements. What is your favorite mod that you did not create?
MCM for Fallout New Vegas and the MCM system that comes shipped with Sky UI. And the reason that is the favourite mod of mine that I did not create is that it literally changes the way mod makers can add settings and menu things. When Pelennor first came up with MCM for Fallout New Vegas, it basically took us all by storm. All the mod authors, I'm not even sure Pelennor realised what he had created. He had created a lot of great mods, actually. He's a very, very clever modder. And the one thing all of his mods had in common were these awesome setting menus. Awesome setting menus. And then one day he just decided to make this basically a setting menu that other people could use. And I'm not sure he knew whether it was going to take off or not. But the minute I saw it, I knew. I absolutely knew. I basically converted all of my mods. I think Project Nevada and his own mods were the first mods to actually get converted for it. But apart from that, after that, I think I got something like 6 mods in rapid succession. It just blew me away how useful that mod was. It completely changed the way we did setting menus in both Fallout New Vegas and now in Skyrim. And as far as I'm concerned, it set the bar. It set the bar, and when Fallout 4 comes out, for example, it's going to have that type of system. Now, the system in Skyrim that comes with the Sky UI system wasn't actually made by Pelennor, but it was named MCM in honour of him by the lead developer of Sky UI. It had that much impact. Brilliant mod. Absolutely brilliant mod.
What propelled you to create the very successful and popular mod Clinic series?
Well, in actual fact, the original series was called Modding Fallout New Vegas, and I re-released it as Modding Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition when all the DLC had been finished and the Ultimate Edition of Fallout New Vegas came out. But that was, the Mod Clinic series was a continuation of those, which was a 9-part tutorial series. And what propelled me to create that series was I've already answered almost the least rewarding thing about creating mods, answering the same question over and over. Because I had so many Fallout New Vegas mods and they covered such a variety of types or sorts of mods, I was constantly being asked a lot of questions, the same questions over and over again. And because I did a lot of UI mods, a lot of those questions would be, how do I get this working with Darn's UI? How do I get this working with MCM when that came out? How do I get this mod working with Project Nevada? And so on. And I would be answering these questions constantly. And I just thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to make some videos. I will show people how to do it. And honestly, I really thought it was going to be a very niche thing, a small thing. I thought I'd put the videos out and people would watch them once I linked them to it. Originally, I was thinking I would upload the videos to Nexus and I would put a version on YouTube that was high quality and people would sort of link to it there. And I didn't know much about YouTube at the time, and I did not know that people would be finding my videos on YouTube rather than via Nexus. And I got a lot more people watching those videos than I possibly imagined. It completely took me by surprise. I had no idea people would want to watch these videos. I created them so that I could literally pass people on to them once they'd asked that question. And that was it. And you know, I mean, it amazed me when I think I got 500 subscribers. This was before Skyrim came out, and I was staggered. I mean, I could not believe people were actually subscribing to my channel because of these videos. It really did. I was mind blown.
What do you enjoy about helping people get the best of modding?
I enjoy when people come along and go, you know what? I'd heard of this modding, but it was so difficult. It was so complicated. I read some guides, but it really confused me. And I watched your videos, and it was dead easy, and it's working, and I can't believe how many mods I'm now using. I mean, you do get a great feeling.
Okay, fun question. If you had the resources, would you make your own video game? If so, what would it be about?
Maybe sort of an RPG, a sci-fi horror RPG. I like those sort of things, like System Shock. But maybe even one that's not necessarily set that far in the future. Or one that is set in the future. I like sci-fi horror type RPGs. And here's another one. Another Vampire the Masquerades. That type of game. RPGs where you're playing a vampire or something else very unusual. I mean, I like RPGs that give you unusual characters. I mean, I liked the Deus Ex series because of this, the slightly strange. Maybe an RPG set in the modern era where you happen to be developing some sort of mental powers. Maybe a world where some people are beginning to develop mental powers, but then they are hunted down, that type of thing. Or, you know, they put on like the mutant list, like in the X-Men, but not quite as over the top as X-Men. Something like that. I like RPGs, and I like ones that are a teeny bit different.
Thank you, Gopher, for taking the time to tell us your story. Before we leave, do you have anything you would like to tell your subscribers and people who have downloaded your mods?
Yeah, thanks for the support. It has been an absolute blast. It's been a real laugh. I enjoy making the mods, I enjoy making the videos, and as long as you guys are enjoying what I produce, I'm going to still produce it. It's as simple as that. I get a kick out of doing this, and as long as other people get a kick out of doing it, it's kind of a nice little feedback loop. It keeps me going.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that was Gopher. Thank you for stopping by and checking out the Lounge 1506 Virtual Spotlight. I invite you to visit the links below this video to check out more interviews from other mod developers and game developers. Until next time, I'm Abby Brinkhaus, signing off.